Ever loved a movie so much you couldn't wait to own it? You tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, just anyone who would listen. Once it's released, you rush over to possess it, excited to relive the experience. But in the end, it only sits and collects dust. This time, I'll be unwrapping them.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's time for another Unwrapped review. This time I will be talking about Suicide Squad. So, this one was, I think, either the second or third place in my poll I did on Facebook. So I had a few choices. Lately, the past couple polls, nostalgia has been winning, which it's no big deal, honestly. It really isn't. I totally get it. People love Bring It On. People love Save the Last Dance. They're not gonna pick this polarizing movie, Suicide Squad, that most people think is not a very good movie. So honestly, this is my second time seeing this movie. I did see it in theaters. I was looking forward to it, especially the controversy surrounding this gentleman right here, Mr. Jared Leto, who played Joker. And maybe it's a good thing that he's on the outside, and so you can just cut him out and just focus on these lovely people, right? But yeah, I was looking forward to seeing what they were going to do with this property. I don't really know much about Suicide Squad when I was going into it for the first time in the theater. I've heard bits and pieces, only am like most pedestrians who don't really read comic books that much. I mostly know more about Harley Quinn and Joker and how a lot of people are like, yeah, their relationship goals, but they're in a very abusive or unhealthy relationship, and that is not goals. You should be looking up to Morticia and Gomez Adams. That's relationship goals. Anyway, so yeah, I was looking forward to this movie, and when I did see it in the theater, I believe my first impression of it probably was, oh, this was a fun movie, but yeah, it has some issues. But then when I heard that there were some moments in them, like afterwards, that Jared Leto was very disappointed that a lot of his scenes got cut out, and that the Blu-ray version would include some extended versions, adding more Joker to the mix, I was curious. And normally I wouldn't, buy a so-so okay-ish movie on Blu-ray. I usually reserve that for movies that I really, really, really deeply enjoy. And so yeah, so I'm admitting that, yeah, I was kind of this was in the okay pile. It wasn't the worst, superhero movie I've seen. It definitely is a step up from the other DC movies that they've made, because Man of Steel was terrible. There you go. You can read my review of it. It is practically an essay. I did not like that movie. Justice League falls in that same category. Not a very good movie either. Wonder Woman was really good. There were parts I thought could have been a little bit better or changed, because I did read Wonder Woman Earth 1, and there was which the story was very similar in the movie, but I wish one little detail was different. I liked Aquaman too, and yeah, DC has some work to do. That's all I gotta say. Compared to Marvel, they have some work to do, but that's a totally different topic for another day. So I decided after I watched, I believe, Bring It On, that I'm like, you know what, let's watch another movie out of this, voting choices. So I decided to watch the Suicide Squad. Of course, this is the extended cut. It has Blu-ray, DVD, digital, HD. If you do not know what Suicide Squad is about, let me tell you about it right now. It feels good to be bad. A team of the world's most dangerous, incarcerated supervillains with the most powerful arsenal at the government's disposal is sent off on a mission to defeat an enigmatic, invincible entity. wow, they didn't really put that much effort in describing what this movie's about. But I guess that's the gist of it. First of all, when I opened this case, I was very surprised. So this is the layout. So you have the DVD over here, and you got the Blu-ray over here. And so when I went to take this, I was like, yeah, let's watch the extended cut of this Blu-ray. So I took it out, and guess what's behind it? Another Blu-ray. This version is the theater version. Of course I wanted to watch the extended cut to see if Mr. Leto, his extra scenes, made any difference at all. But mostly, I was just puzzled why they couldn't just put a little insert right here in the middle for this other disc. They just stacked it on here. I don't know. I don't get it. So, I work in a library. We have DVDs. Usually, if there's more than 2 discs, there's a little insert right here. I mean, granted this has 2 discs, but yeah. I don't know why they couldn't have that in this Blu-ray case. Nonetheless, not that important. So I watched the movie, and I did kind of was trying to pick my brain of what I saw in the theater, because it's been a really long time since I've seen it, because this movie came out in 2016. So that's 4 years ago of me digging in my mind and seeing, did I see that? Yeah, I did. Did I see that? Let's talk about what I liked about the movie, because I don't think I've actually reviewed this at all. I did think it was fun. I liked the variety of characters. I thought they were really great. I thought Margot Robbie was a great Harley Quinn. She definitely deserved her own movie, and I totally get it. I thought Will Smith was pretty good as Deadshot, although I wish there was more risk than what he normally does, but I know he has his own brand. And I watched some video talking about how Will Smith just, protects his brand, and he doesn't, get out of that box, that Will Smith box. But I totally get it, but I feel like to be in a movie like this, because I think this was rated R. Nope, it's not. I'm wrong. It's PG-13. I feel like he needed to go a little extra more. I also thought there was another character I thought was interesting. I thought Viola Davis was really great as Amanda Wallace. I've heard bits and pieces about her character, and I know some of my friends were very excited about her being in it, and that they thought she was absolutely perfect for the role, and I think she is. I'm not completely familiar with her, because I think she shows up in some of the animated series stuff. One day I'll check that out, and it's definitely on my list. Joan Kinnaman, I thought he was great. I'm more familiar of seeing him in The Killing, which is a fantastic show, and if you haven't seen it, you should. Who else? I don't know who the actor was for Diablo, but I thought he was pretty funny. Also, Captain Boomerang, I thought he was pretty funny. I thought the humor was good. Of course, it could have been better. But for the most part, I thought this was a really fun movie. So, where does it all just fall into? Okay. Let's start with some nitpicks. Let's just start low, and then we'll work our way up. I wish there was more depth with certain characters. They sounded really interesting, but they don't feel like they were utilized as much. Let's talk about Killer Croc. Killer Croc seemed like a really interesting character. We don't really get to know much about him. There's another character that dies immediately upon the mission. So I'm just what was the point of having him there? Also, I mean, I kind of briefly said, I really enjoyed the jokes, but some of the jokes didn't really work out very well. The Enchantress, her being the villain, plot twist, spoiler alert, I don't know what you want to say. This movie's 4 years old. Kind of disappointed Because Enchantress actually seemed like a really cool character, and it just kind of sucks that, like, at the end of the movie, we get, like, another laser in the sky, random enemies turning into, like, creatures or whatever. It just kind of turned into something that I have already seen before, and even DC has done it before. Many a times. And I'm just kind of sick of it. And I think this came out after Dawn of Justice, Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, that mess of a movie. They already had the big giant monster with the laser or whatever at the end of the movie. And, like, the best thing of that whole, like, battle was Wonder Woman. She did all the work while Batman and Superman were bickering and not doing anything. Like, they were completely useless. This movie, the best part about, like, their whole, like, scene was, like, Enchantress looked really cool, and also I love the trickery and the image that she put in their head of, like, oh, here's that great life that you could have, and Diablo's just like, oh, it's a lie, don't believe it. Like, other than that, like, the final battle was disappointing. Like, the whole fighting, the whole action parts, I think could have been better. So for the big thing, Mr. Jared Leto as Joker, everybody knows that he's not the best Joker. I agree. Like, it is cringy. Like, when I first saw, like, what image he had, I was kind of like, okay, he's like this gangster pimp type character. Like, I didn't judge too hard. I was very open-minded. I'm like, you know what, it actually could work out. I don't know. Joker has many faces and looks, and, you know, it could work. But the way that he portrayed him, it was not the Joker of the past. He kind of acted like your typical bad guy, and, you know, it's like, Joker, I mean, sure, he has, you know, his little posse, his little mob, whatever, but I don't see him, I don't know, doing extortions and, you know, using guns and doing this, and it's just, like, I just can't. Like, I guess it works for this movie in a way, but I don't know. I don't buy his, like, chemistry and love for Harley Quinn. Like, the extra scenes that they add in the extended cut don't really help his case, honestly. And I feel sorry for his castmates that had to deal with him being Joker. Because I did watch the extras that are on here, because there were a bunch of extras. And I watched a good chunk of them. And just, like, them talking about Joker, I feel like they had to, like, find the most positive footage they had to, like, say about Jared Leto. Granted, he's an alright actor. I don't think I've seen him in a lot of stuff, but, yeah, just the method to his madness, I could not get bored. I'm just like, dude, you crazy. I don't know why you acting like this. Like, this is not how Joker is. Granted, I am not that hardcore of a DC person, and I'm still feel like I'm a newbie when it comes to comics, but I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. He was just too laughable, and I want to be terrified or questioning everything. And this is a different type of, like, questioning. It's more of like, why are you like this? Why is this the direction you decided to go? But, like, there was one scene that I did like. That was like, you know what? This is the Joker that I want. Like, when he's laying on the ground, and there's all these, like, different weapons surrounding him, and there's, like, the baby clothes, all that. I like that. That was beautiful. That looked good. And a little bit of the interaction of how he turned, you know, made Harley Quinn. That was okay, but just his speech pattern and everything else, it's just, try hard. I forgot there was another character I was kind of disappointed they underutilized, which was, what was her name? I'm sure it's not Katana. She has a katana. But her. This character right here. Her. I thought they could have done so much more with her character. I feel like she was very underutilized, and she seemed really interesting, much like all these other people. A video I can recommend, I don't remember the YouTuber's name. I am going to put a card for it, but they were comparing what made Guardians of the Galaxy work and not Suicide Squad. And I totally agree with him. Their setup of introducing the characters and their background worked perfectly in Guardians, but in Suicide Squad, it just doesn't work. And this movie had so much potential, and it definitely, like I said, is not the worst of the worst in the new era of DC movies, but it definitely isn't the best of the best. It definitely is somewhere in the middle. So I did like it enough that I don't regret that I bought it, honestly. I mean, I still wouldn't have bought it on Blu-ray if it wasn't for that whole, oh yeah, there's some extra scenes in here of Joker that, might change. I don't know why I caved into it, because I didn't do that for, Batman vs. Superman and its extended features. I remember a former coworker was saying you can't write a review on it if you don't see the extended stuff, because that might change your mind. And I'm just like, look dude, this movie was 2 hours plus long, and it was already a hot piece of garbage. There was no redeeming it. At least with Suicide Squad, there are some very good elements in this movie. There are more good stuff I could say about this movie compared to Batman vs. Superman, because there wasn't much that I liked about that movie. Anyway, like I said, it was fun. I'm glad I watched, the extras. They showed some stuff on how, them learning how to use weapons and do tactical stuff with, like the military or the army, I forgot what it was, and how they, sneak around walls and whatnot. They also showed some training and acrobatic stuff with, like, Harley Quinn and, like, with their double, because she does do some, like, little acrobatic things in it. And then I already mentioned that they did, show some stuff on, Jared Leto and how he was getting into the Joker, and he talks a little bit, and some of the crew talk about it, and how he was, like, super into it and whatnot. They don't mention, the dead rats or anything, but the extras were pretty cool, and I like that. Obviously, me rewatching it a second time does not change my opinion from the first time. It's still an okay movie. So, yeah. Well, that's the end of the video. I'm sorry, I don't think I'm bringing anything new to the table when it comes to Suicide Squad. I think most people already said what they had to say about the movie, because it's 4 years old. If you've seen Suicide Squad, this movie right here, tell me what you thought in the comments below, and if you like this, video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more stuff that I do, hit that subscribe button. And also, if you want to get early access to videos and other little extra things that I do, you can join Patreon like these lovely people below. And I'll see you guys next time in another video. Peace.